We live. Right. Good afternoon, everyone. How's everybody doing? I hope everybody's doing okay and had a good long weekend with an extra snow day in there. Actually, we were really worried that we wouldn't have very many people showing up today, so we appreciate a lot of you guys showing up in person. First of all, let me ask, can everybody who's online, can y'all hear me? If you can, do a thumbs up or okay, good. Well, I appreciate that. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Richard Wade. I am the Deputy Executive Administrator for the Texas Geographic Information Office, part of the Water Development Board. I also serve as the state's Geographic Information Officer. And I'm very happy to be here and be able to now present to you with the team on some of the things that we've been working on over at Tex GIO. I think you're going to get some good information out of this. For those of you who have not ever been to one of these community meetings, I say this every time, so I'm sorry for those of you who have and hear me over and over again. But this is a kind of meeting where we tell you what we've been up to, but we like to hear what y'all have been up to as well. So we can kind of make sure that we are aware of it, and we could be doing some things that maybe can help you or make you aware of certain things that might be able to help you as we move forward. So I'm going to see if I can advance this slide. That's the slides. See if I can, there we go. You just had to wake it up. So we are in the brand new Barbara George State Building. For those of y'all who have never been here, this is an amazing facility. And this is where we're going to probably be doing most of our community meetings from here on moving forward. This is a great facility. It has pretty much every room for every occasion. As you can tell, I don't have a microphone on me. We have microphones in the room. It can pick up everything in the room, including as you speak back there. You don't need to necessarily have a microphone in your hand, so you just speak in your normal voice. But this is an amazing facility, and we're really excited about having our meetings here moving forward. So if you're online or if you ever have the ability to come join us in person, we'd love to have you in person because we'd love to chat with you, but also this is just a great facility, a great area to be in as well. So try to join us if you can. So the agenda today is, like I said, it's going to be pretty full. We got our opening remarks, which I'm working on now, and of course the GIO updates. We'll go into our GIS forum updates. We got some new information for you there. Tex GIO StratMap program updates. And then, of course, we have our featured presentation by FloodMap. We're really excited to have them here. They were going to be here in person, but because of the weather, and I believe they're in Canada, is that right? So we'll just let them stay there. No sense to come and try to fight what we were going to do here. We weren't even sure how the weather was going to be today. And then we want to do our open discussion, which is where we want to hear back from you. And then we're going to go into our closing remarks and our announcements. So with that, I'll go ahead and just get us started. We wanted to let you know that Tex GIO has been actively looking at the legislative bills that are being put out there. We're really interested in everything that's GIS related, anything mapping, anything GIS related, or anything in that field. Something we want to take a good look at because we want to make sure we're aware of what's being asked. And if it's something that we feel like is something we need to be a part of, we will make that recommendation to our government relations team to let them know that this is something that affects us and we would like to have say in that bill. So just know that that's something that's going to be happening probably for the next couple of months anyway, before things start to calm down. So anyway, as things come up, we will definitely let you know of what we've been hearing at our next meetings, or some of y'all, maybe something we will talk to you directly on if it involves you as well. So I wanted to let you know that that's one of the items that we're working on. The other thing too, before I get going too, is I just wanted to say that we had GIS Day back in November, and it was an amazing event for us to kind of watch what others were doing. I had the opportunity to go to the Houston area GIS Day, which was phenomenal. And I wanted to thank Johan for that invitation, for asking me to come, but I was able to present over there. But that was such an amazing experience for me to just see how other people are teaching GIS specifically to folks in the high school level. And what I really found to be fascinating was how many young people are starting to get really interested in the stuff that we do. So I had the opportunity to speak to some of the high school kids, some of the college kids that were around there, and many of them not absolutely sure exactly what field they were going to go into. They were just kind of, straggling along, but at the end of it, we're like, this is amazing. This is something I really, really want to be a part of. So it was an amazing time. I know the GIO staff are going to be attempting to attend a lot more of these other meetings that are outside our area too, just to kind of learn what's going on and see how other people are doing things. So Johan, thank you very much. It was an amazing time. Looking forward to the photos that are going to be posted out on that website. And I did commit that I will be back next year for that event again. The other thing that we'll be working on is the Texas GIO report. So what this is, we've already produced the two, but it's basically the state of GIS at the state of Texas. We produced two. The first one was in 2016, December 1st. So these will be due every December 1st at 5-year intervals. So our next one is coming soon, December 1st, 2026. That gives us just under 2 years. And we're going to need every bit of that 2 years to talk to everybody and generate this report. So stay tuned for that. Many of you guys we will be talking to in person. And many of you guys will be helping us author this report. So I want to let you know that is now taking a center stage in our world. One other thing I wanted to bring up too from a GIO update perspective is something called the NGC, or the National Geospatial Collaborative. This is a new group that has formed just in about the last year and a half, that came out of the National States Geographic Information Council, which I was president of last year, and now I'm the acting past president. But what this does is it's a group that is kind of committed to helping organizations kind of align along common goals to make sure that, there are several organizations out there. We want to make sure that these organizations are all kind of singing the same song, so that when they're talking to our legislators, that they're not hearing one thing different than what another group is hearing, and it kind of confuses the whole issue. But on top of that, this gives us the ability with this collaborative as a 501c3, gives us the ability to take on money. So we can take donations, we can find grants, we can do other things to help our GIS community to do the things that we feel like we need to do at the national level. So it kind of helps the organizations, all organizations, not just NSGIC, but all organizations, kind of gives them the same footing. We could take on funds, grants, donations, whatever it might be, and we can disseminate those out to the organizations that are the strongest at whatever it is we feel like we need to be doing. So I'm very happy that I am now on the board as a vice chair as of the 1st of this month. And my tenure goes for 1 full year. And I think that's really, really critical with the things that we've done on the national level, which is basically develop a strategic plan, our first strategic plan in about 40 years, 35 years. And now we're working on the action plan, to make sure that we take the NGC and the capabilities that we have, that the NGC has, that we can kind of merge those together with our ideas and our plans moving forward. So you'll hear more about that through our time in our next community meeting. I'll just kind of keep you posted on how that's going. So with that, I believe that is all I have. And I believe I'm turning it over to Laura, turn it over to you for our GIS forum update.
Hey everyone, my name is Laura Sepulveda. At Texas GIO, I'm the manager of the Design, Innovation, and Marketing department. And so we get the fun job of planning the annual forum every year. So you'll see me or Gwen at these community meetings to share information as we get closer to the event. So historically, the forum has been towards the end of October, but we do have new dates this year. So I want to make everybody aware of those. It's going to be the first week of November, still at the JJ Pickle Commons Center, where it is every year. But we do have, it's delayed or pushed back 2 weeks this year. So November 3rd through 7th are the dates you want to put on your calendar. And I will let you know the next update that you might be interested in is in March. We'll be opening the call for presentations. So if you've been wanting to speak at the forum, I encourage you to start thinking about that. And we did have a digital map gallery last year, which we are going to continue this year. So if you want to make a map, or if you have a map that you've made that you want to submit, that will also be opening in March. We have also chosen the theme for this year, and I'm really excited to announce the 2025 theme for the forum is the Intersect. Yeah. This is, graphic is in development. This is a stock image, but I thought it was very cool looking. But we are really excited about the concept of, intersecting lines, polygons, people coming together at the forum to meet, share ideas, technology information, and change each other's lives. So we're really looking forward to it. The next update I have is related to, actually, before I go on, does anybody have any questions about the forum?
Somebody posted in Teams or put their hand up in Teams right now.
Okay.
Yeah. If anybody does have questions, you can just put them in the Q&A section.
Yes. Okay. Next update is the TextGIO map catalog update. So if you don't know, TextGIO has an online map catalog. It has over 600 static maps that are available free to download for anybody from our website. You can also, for a small cost, we can print them for you and ship them to you if you like. If you want us to print on our plotters like a large map. Because there's so many of them, we only usually refresh the data every 5 years. And that refresh is just about to complete later this month. So if you're looking for a new map, now is a great time. It features our new branding, all the latest, data, base map layers and everything. And I will say, just even though we go through the giant refresh every 5 years, if there's a major update or a change, we don't wait to make that. We will update on the fly as needed. So this is the URL. You can go to our website and click on the map section, and that's where the map catalog is. You can explore it there. It has, I guess one of the really popular map collections are the county layers or the county maps. And so for each county in Texas, we have a map that you can print out. And they're beautiful. Eric O'Brien at TextGIO makes them and maintains them. And so this was a big undertaking for him, and we hope y'all enjoy them. The last thing is I want to announce we are undertaking 2 very large projects this year. One will be a redesign of the TextGIO website, which you may interact with. And the next is a redesign of the TextGIO Data Hub, which is where you may find and download data layers from us. And so when we do this, we definitely want to get your feedback in what we're doing, make something that works for all of y'all, because you are our users and our customers. And so we will be reaching out for each of these projects to get feedback, ask you what you like, what you need, what works for you. And one way you can volunteer to be a participant in that is by going and signing up for our mailing list and choosing this option, TextGIO feedback opportunities. That's something you would be interested in hearing about. And so anybody who selects that as a preference, we will send out when we have feedback opportunities for these projects or other projects at TextGIO, and we would love to get your input. If you're already on the mailing list, you can simply go to the email that was sent to you to invite you to this meeting at the bottom and update your preferences and select this TextGIO feedback option. And I'm going to hand it off to Lauren. Oh, actually, before I go, any questions? Thank you.
Hi, hello everyone. My name is Lauren Kirk. I'm the imagery specialist at TextGIO. I'm here to kick off some strategic mapping team data updates. Starting with our Texas Imagery Service. So Texas GIO and our partners at Sanborn and Hexagon have just wrapped our latest statewide 2024 imagery refresh back in December, I believe. Yeah. So that layer was acquired in tandem with the USDA NAEP collection as well. So both are complete. And these collections, well, the statewide 2024 will join our two other most recent additions to the imagery service, our urban areas from 2024 and our last statewide refresh from 22-23. And we do expect the NAEP statewide 2024 collection to arrive on our TextGIO data hub sometime this spring. As for the latest Texas Imagery Service 2024 collect, sorry, there's a lot of words there. This is the kind of tentative release schedule for that data set. It will be a rolling release. So current participants of the imagery service will see these blocks slowly update in the Texas Imagery Service over the next month and a half, 2 months. If all goes to plan, y'all will start seeing new imagery as soon as February and should see the entire state refreshed by the end of March, which is very exciting. And for those who may not be familiar with the Texas Imagery Service, it is an annual paid subscription service available to all Texas government entities, all the way from local to state level, and contractors working on their behalf. It is, like I said, provides generally statewide collects every other year with collections going back to 2011. So there's about 20-ish or so imagery collections in the service. It is 6-inch resolution, natural color imagery, and it is all available through streaming WMTS and WMS links. So you don't have to download the imagery to your computers or your servers. If you are interested in taking the Texas Imagery Service for a little 2-week trial spin, you go to our Texas Imagery Service project page. That's the link there. You can request a free trial of the imagery service. So please check that out. And then additionally, for all current active participants of the imagery service, we have rolled out the Texas Imagery Service Plus, which allows optional service enhancements on top of kind of our baseline product, which is those statewide. So if you're interested in acquiring color infrared imagery for your area or have a custom flight with specific specifications that you need, you can work with our vendor Sanborn to collect those and have those made available to you. So it's a really valuable service to leverage the imagery service and how cost effective it is. And so I definitely encourage you all to reach out if you have any questions about utilizing the Texas Imagery Service Plus. And then I also want to mention all of the free ortho imagery that TextGIO also has on our data hub. So this ortho imagery screenshot is just of our project page where you can read all of our kind of base specifications for that. And then on the far side is a screen grab of our data hub. We have over 90 collections of ortho imagery that are free for you to download. Some of them also have web service links as well, so you don't need to download those. And we have collections that are in scope ranging from full statewide to small city, region, local areas. So definitely take a look there if you have not yet. And then just to wrap up my updates, I do want to briefly touch on the statewide Texas land cover. Back in the fall, TextGIO in partnership with NOAA completed an 11-county pilot to acquire high-resolution 1-meter land cover data for Texas. We received really overwhelmingly positive feedback from that. And so we have received board approval to proceed with the acquisition of a statewide 1-meter land cover data set for Texas. It will be derived using imagery from our latest Texas Imagery Service update. And we are looking for funding and partnerships with you guys. So if anyone is interested in land cover in Texas or have any questions, my email is there at the bottom. Love to chat with you on it. But more to come on that. So stay tuned. And with that, I will pass it over to Ellen to give her LiDAR. Oh, questions?
Question. From David Maidman, is there imagery service available for researchers at UT Austin?
Yes. Yep. Sorry, I had to think about
And
that.
then so Richard Kelly asks, so the older DOQQs, color infrared, are available at this time?
Richard, can you specify which DOQQs you're referring to? If you raise your hand, we can unmute you too. We'll get back to you on that, Richard.
Cool. All right, any other questions before I hand it over? No? Okay, thanks, y'all.
Game on. All right, I'm gonna unmute you, Richard. Okay, you can unmute yourself now.
Yeah, there it is. You get it now?
Yes, sir.
Sorry, new tech everywhere. Hi, Richard Kelly here. And this may be for Richard and others. There were a lot of holdings that go back, particularly for the Central Texas area, where we had digital orthophoto quarter quads that were color infrared that we developed, I think going back to the late 90s, early aughts, that may have some value and look at change of land use and vegetation and other things. Are those still out and about, available through this method, or are those older archives? You got to have, if you have them on a CD, hold on to them, that kind of thing.
Every ortho imagery collection that we have is available through our TextGIO data hub, with the exception of the
Right.
imagery from the Texas Imagery Service. So yeah, they should all be there. We're not putting any of them on cold storage.
Yeah, I used to work at Capcog in the Central Texas area, and we developed those programs working with Tenris at the time, Texas Water Development Board, back in the late 90s, and Austin and other areas. So I just wanted to see if those assets were still available as we go forward, because now that it's been so long, there's some historical value to those as we move forward. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, I believe the earliest CIR we have is the top 1995. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be it. That's I know that's way
Yeah.
back, but now we can go see, with the vast change through the corridor and other places, it would be really helpful for a variety of purposes.
Yeah, absolutely. That is one of our foundational ortho imagery collections, and it is there. So please check it out if you haven't. Any other questions? No. Okay.
Hello, everybody. My name is Ellen St. Romain, and I am the Elevation Program Specialist at TextGIO. I have some updates for you on both of our collections from last year that we acquired are now available and live on the Data Hub as of this week. So that Hayes and Williamson County's LiDAR has been up there for a while, but that one has additional 1-foot contours and DSMs that our local county partners paid for. So that is available to everybody for free to download. And then, yes, the Archer, Jacqueline, Passes, and Smith counties LiDAR just finally got up on the Data Hub this week. So please go check that out. If you see the map there, that orange area is our current year's LiDAR project. I have an update for you on that. So this is a screen grab of the current acquisition status. So we kicked off January 3rd, and vendor wasted absolutely no time acquiring. So that is awesome. They are about 60 or 70% done with acquisition. And this project is going to have 2D building footprints and 3D building models delivered with the final deliverables as well. So we'll just push that to the Data Hub when all that is ready. But that is exciting. First project with those deliverables. So there are, oh, there's a question. Hi.
Yeah, can you tell me which vendor got awarded that?
It's Fugro. Fugro got the award. Yes. So there are 2 planes and 2 sensors on this project. And a couple weeks ago, Fugro invited us out, and we got to go tour the plane and the sensor and talk to the technician. So that was really cool. And yeah, I'm just excited at how quickly the acquisition is going. So lastly, I spoke about this at our last community meeting, but I made a little bit of a change to the LiDAR status map on our website. So moving forward, the status map on the LiDAR page is going to show any active LiDAR acquisitions that we know of that are going on in the state. So it shows our project acquisitions, any USGS acquisitions, or other local acquisitions that we know will become publicly available. The 2022 USGS Lower Rio Grande LiDAR collection, we are currently pulling down from the USGS site so that we can host it on our data hub. 2024 HGAC LiDAR collection, that acquisition is complete. I believe all the deliverables are also complete. They're just waiting on the USGS approval for that data. So that should be available in the coming months, and we will put that on our data hub for y'all. And then finally, there are a few sort of patches around Texas that the USGS is currently acquiring, and that'll take anywhere from, I think they said 18 to 24 months to get that. So just wanted to update y'all on other LiDAR acquisitions going on. Does anybody have any questions for me? Okay, my contact information is going to be on the StratMap contact page. So if anybody has any questions, feel free to reach out. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to Clayton.
Hi, everyone. My name is Clayton Rainier. I'm the Bathymetry and Hydrography Program Specialist at GIO. So I just want to give a couple brief bathymetry updates. So later in the year, we plan to be collecting bathymetry for the Matagorda Bay system along the central Gulf Coast. That is the primary AOI, and then we have a couple optional AOIs of Trinity Bay and East Bay if we still have funding for those. We anticipate that data being available late fall of 2025 or early spring of 2026. And then prior to my bathymetry position, I was the coordinator for the land parcels and address points. We're currently in the process of hiring a new geographic data coordinator for those data sets. I'll still be the main point of contact for those in the time being. We are in prep for the 2025 collection, which will hopefully begin here in the next couple of weeks. We are partnering with BIS again for the land parcel collection. We anticipate having statewide coverage again, with the exception for Donnelly County, which doesn't have any of the parcel data in a GIS. That data should be available midsummer. Some goals for that, especially for the address point data set, is to just start increasing coverage within the counties. We have pretty good statewide coverage. So there's some data for almost all the counties, but we'd like to start focusing in on smaller little cities and towns. So this is a slide I showed at the last community meeting. This is the 2024 land parcel data set for anybody that hasn't seen this. We got data for 253 counties. Again, Donnelly County was the only one we didn't get data for. And there are 13.8 million records in that parcel data set. All of this data is available on the data hub as feature services and web maps. And the same for the address point data set. We had 252 counties.
It's okay.
We didn't have any data for Howard County or Henderson County. Kind of the same issue with the parcel data. Just couldn't come across any of that in a GIS environment. That record contains, or that data set contains 11.3 million address points. And we also have submitted this to the National Database. And again, this is all available on the data hub. We got the results back from the 2023 submission to the National Address Database. And for that acquisition, we had 10.3 million records that were submitted, and 9.6 of those were accepted into the address database. And so we have approximately 1 million more address points we submitted with this past year's data set. So I'm anxious to see results from that. And then lastly, legislative boundaries. We have a feature service for this now created. We published shapefiles and a file geodatabase a couple months ago. but there's some feedback requests for a feature service. So that's now available. The links are here for that, and they can also be found on the Data Hub. So with that, are there any questions about those data sets? Yes.
Yeah, for the Bathy, so who's the champion within the state government that's, pursuing that project? What department within the Texas Water Development Board?
Yeah, I'll let Joey.
Yeah, so it's predominantly our surface water folks, particularly the coastal science entities, and they really wanted to kind of update a lot of their flood modeling, things like slosh grids and those aspects of that, as well as the fact that for text GIO, we really see the value in mapping those areas, especially since a lot of them haven't been mapped for decades. And so getting kind of a refresh on a lot of those topographic or the bathymetric elevations is really beneficial.
Yeah. Who's the director of the coastal sciences?
Amin Kagati.
Amin,
Yeah. I'm happy to send you his info if you'd like to speak with him.
please.
Any other questions?
Yeah, so as far as the Bathy stuff, are y'all having any other projects that are gonna come out later this year?
I don't know if we have any more proposed later for this year, but next year we'll have a couple more.
You know, which estuaries you're focusing on?
So
I didn't put, yeah, I'll let Joey.
yeah, we do. So back in 2022, we had a bathymetry kind of workshop for the state of Texas, and we identified, I think it was about 12 different bodies of water, and they were all ranked based on input from the user community in Texas and different state agencies and port authorities and Army Corps and those types of individuals. And so we created a ranked list of coastal regions as part of the Texas Integrated Flooding Framework. And so I think I've posted those in some of the previous community meetings, so you can probably find that list there. But if anybody's interested in seeing kind of what the ranking is and kind of understanding where we're kind of moving towards in the future, we're currently just trying to make our way down that list at the moment.
It's in last quarter's slides.
Pass it off to you, Joey.
Hey, how's everybody going? I am Joey Thomas. I am the manager of the strategic mapping program here at Texas GIO. I just want to give a short update. One of the main components of the strategic mapping program is our ability to go out and get data for the state of Texas, and the mechanism by which we use that is the Department of Information Resources GIS hardware, software, and services contracts. And so every 4 to 5 years, they open up a RFO to the vendor pool at large to get new contractors onto that contract and that RFO so that we can pursue these for the state. They have currently released a pre-solicitation bid notice for the contract RFO, as well as an RFI. They're kind of looking to understand, what's changed over the past 4 or 5 years. If there are new technologies that need to be incorporated into the RFO, or any new hardware or software that would be beneficial to the state of Texas. So if you know of any hardware, software, or services like that, I encourage you to respond to the RFI. And then as far as releasing the RFO, it is set to be released on March 19th in 2025. And then a kind of a breakdown of that schedule, including a optional vendor conference, which we encourage any interested vendors to go to, can be found there in that table. This is open to any GIS vendors, as well as any vendors that are currently on the contract will need to reapply through this RFO to continue doing work in the state of Texas under these contracts. And if there's any questions, or if anybody wants to see what the last RFO looks like or anything like that, feel free to shoot me an email, and I'm happy to share that info with you. Are there any questions? No? Okay. And of course, if you have any questions about the StratMap program or any of our acquisition efforts, or you would potentially like to partner with us to help you get some cheaper data, and as well as we'll do a lot of the project management and the lifting on our end to help get you that data, just let us know. We are here to help and serve. And now I believe we are going to have our guest presenter, our featured presenter, Juliet Murphy with FloodMap. Juliet is a chartered professional water resource engineer and mission-driven leader with 16 years industry experience in water resource engineering, research and development, and business management across Australia and North America. Juliet brings expertise in hydrologic and hydraulic modeling, flood risk management, emergency management, GIS mapping, and project management. As the CEO and co-founder of FloodMap, Juliet leads a multidisciplinary team to deliver impact-based flood forecasting and live flood intelligence to support emergency preparedness, response, and recovery. And I believe FloodMap was also the winner of our digital map contest at the forum. So please welcome Juliet.
Thank you so much all for having me. It's a pleasure to be with you today. Sincere apologies I wasn't able to join in person due to the severe weather, but yeah, wonderful to be here virtually. I'm going to be presenting today on a bit of the work we're doing at FloodMap to protect communities with flood models, operational flood modeling, and GIS. Before I get kicked off, I thought it would be fun to understand who all's in the room with us today. So I just wanted to do a quick survey by maybe giving your thumbs up reaction. Who all here is a flood engineer like me? All right, wondering who all is a GIS professional? Thumbs up. Okay, lots of you, amazing. Okay, great. Any floodplain managers in the room today? Okay, wonderful. Well, thanks so much. It's it's a real pleasure and excited to talk about GIS today and some of the work that we're doing, and look forward to the opportunity to collaborate. So we know that Texas is no stranger to flooding. Flood and tropical cyclone have cost the state about $200 to $300 billion from 1980 to 2024, according to NOAA stats. It has the highest flood-related fatalities in the US, including drivers and vehicles, which is really tragic. Hurricane Harvey cost an estimated $159 billion in damages. So this was one of the wettest hurricanes in US history. And yeah, I think second to only Katrina in terms of damages. And we are seeing these events become more frequent. So one challenge for communities can be getting access to localized impact data. Whilst there's many gauging products and broad warning products, getting access to that localized data on impact to people, property, and critical infrastructure is really key to communities having the intel they need to be able to make informed decisions for their preparedness, response, and recovery. And so on that note, I know there's a number of really exciting initiatives underway in Texas at the moment in terms of flood risk management and operational flood management and mapping. And I wanted to take a moment to acknowledge those initiatives and all those involved. So we're really excited to see the Texas State Flood Plan released with a proposal for thousands of specific and actionable projects, evaluations, strategies that clearly can demonstrate a path to reduce the flood risk across the state. And excitingly, I think 17% or 61 of those initiatives seek to reduce flood risks related to roadways. So implementation of flood early warning systems, for example, for roadways and flood prone areas, which is really exciting. So yeah, big thank you to the lead authors there, Reem Zoon, Tressa Olsen, Matt Nelson, and the team of contributors for that work. It's really exciting to see this come to life and into action. It's also been really great to follow the work of the National Water Centre in collaboration with the National Weather Service, also with the river forecast centres there and the weather forecast officers on the flood inundation mapping services. So as of September 2024, there was 30% coverage, including East Texas. So this is a really exciting product that's updated every 6 hours, giving flood inundation extent mapping in conjunction with a 5-day forecast. So it's going to be really exciting to watch that effort as that continues towards 100% rollout and some coverage across the rest of the state of Texas. I also wanted to take a moment to recognize the work of the Texas Department of Transportation in collaboration with the University of Texas and USGS. So a shout out there to the project team, Dr. David Maidment, Andy Carter, and their team there at University of Texas, Scott at USGS, with involvement there from Kisters and Aqua Strategies. So this was an exciting project we've been watching that involves some installation of flood gauge sensors at the Department of Transport bridges, as well as then doing some flood inundation mapping to understand the impact at roadways and help support safety on Texas roads, given the number of flood fatalities. And wanted to also give a shout out to the team at the University of Texas and their collaboration with TDEM. So the project team there again, Dr. David Maidment and his team at University of Texas and their work on Pin to Flood. So for those of you who may not be familiar, this is an app where a first responder can take a dropped pin and the app can project that into a flood extent using the hand model hydraulics and calculations, which is able to generate that inundation extent. So this is available as both a mobile app for first responders in the field and a web-based technology. So this is an incredible way to capture valuable data during an event. So that's a nice lead into some of the work we do at StratMap. We are a team of specialists across a number of areas, including flood hydraulics and hydrology, emergency management, GIS, software, data science, and community engagement professionals. So we actively working right now with the government sector, state, local, and federal government, as well as critical infrastructure, particularly those entities in the energy utilities or telecommunications industries. And we believe in disaster management and floodplain management. Collaboration is key. So we're forming strong public and private partnerships. And they say in emergency management for an effective disaster response, the key is getting a common operating picture or shared situational awareness across state government agencies from federal down to local, and with key private entities such as telecommunications and critical infrastructure asset owners to facilitate a coordinated, effective preparedness, response, and recovery. And so that's core to our philosophy at StratMap. We really believe in data interoperability and collaboration for these reasons, because it's only when you can overlay data sets such as hazard exposure, you're able then to fully understand the impact across the community and work together to manage that. So in the United States, we work with federal agencies, including FEMA and the Department of Homeland Security, and we partner with USGS and NOAA. We are building partnerships constantly and gathering data such as elevation data, flood gauge sensors, and forecast rainfall data sets. We are working with partners at the state and local level, including City of Boston, Williamson County here in Texas, and the Florida Division of Emergency Management, as well as the City of Norfolk there in Virginia, and Enbridge, a big gas pipeline company. They have a presence in Houston. So I wanted to introduce a little bit about our technology. At StratMap, we have a system called DASH, or Dynamic Automated Scalable Hydroinformatics, a technology that focuses on operational gathering of data sources such as live gauges every hour, forecast rainfall data, and pumping that into our system of configurable hydrology and hydraulic models, which run hourly and are able to simulate flood extent, flood depth, and flood impact to people, property, and critical infrastructure. So the system is run hourly to deliver those dynamic updates as a flood changes, and we see changes in rainfall or river levels rise. So the system enhances physical hydrology and hydraulics models with AI and machine learning to aid in model run speeds and automation for operational configuration. It's scalable from property level down to meter resolution we have in Norfolk, and we're seeing this scale across states and up to the national scale, delivering property level accuracy. So yeah, the key, probably key takeaway of this slide is also that it's configurable. So this is not a platform, but rather a model API that's designed to be integrated into any other GIS system, such as ArcGIS Online, for example, Esri products, or any other emergency management system. So the three services that we typically productionize with communities are forecast, nowcast, and postcast to support preparedness, response, and recovery before, during, and after the flood event. So we're seeing forecast be particularly valuable in a public safety standpoint to inform targeted messaging and evacuations or deployment of flood barriers. Nowcast we're seeing be applied to understand impacts to roadways in real time, for live traffic routing or road closures. And postcast have big applications in the recovery space with preliminary damage assessment and faster distribution of resources following a flood. So I'm going to take you all through how these are being applied in action. I thought that may be useful to see. A picture is worth 1,000 words, as they say. This first demonstration is showing and focusing on our flood forecast system, which is able to forecast not only how high we expect the river levels to rise and peak, but also to what extent we are going to see the inundation and how the floodplain is going to respond. So this is showing the results of our hydrology forecast model and our hydraulics forecast model, inundation model. The exciting part here too that this is demonstrating is that one of the applications of our machine learning into the hydraulics model is to estimate and replace predicted water height data where a flood gauge may have been washed away during a flood, which can often result in gaps during data during events. So our model will forecast, gauges where a gauge may have come out of offline due to telemetry issues or from physically being damaged. So we apply a rigorous calibration and validation approach at StratMap. We use a range of sources, including media imagery, drone videos, pre-existing flood studies, traffic camera imagery, social media photos and videos that are playing out as the flood unfolds, high water marks, and satellite imagery. And so here's just a couple of examples showing that accuracy at the property level, with the red showing StratMap postcast here on the left and the building on the right. And then over to our right here with the tape measure, this is one of our staff measuring the flood at 9 inches and the model showing 10 inches at that particular location in Norfolk, Virginia. So what this technology allows us then to do is to take that operational hazard data as a live feed of flooding, overlay it with exposure data, such as structures, critical infrastructure, such as roadways, and then understand with that overlay, what is the impact at a structure level or a roadway level. And it's with that granular impact data that is really valuable for communities to understand how many resources they need, where should be the targeted messaging, how many proportions of the community to evacuate, which particular people, or even be used in swift water rescue logistics. As we've seen in Queensland, Australia, that's been a really successful application of the technology. And the other thing to express here that's really important, again, with our philosophy, we're really committed to interoperability. So all of these feeds, forecast, nowcast, and postcast, as well as the impact analytics, are delivered via a live data feed. So this is an API via either a web map service, web feature service, or Esri REST services designed to connect within any GIS platform to really support that interoperability and common operating platform that emergency managers need as a flood event unfolds. So that's with 24/7 accessibility and 99.5% uptime. So this demonstration I wanted to share brings that to life and shows you that interoperability in action. So what this is showing is FloodMap Nowcast with Impact Analytics configured as APIs within the Esri ArcGIS Online system, where this dashboard is showing us that as the flood river level rises at the Windsor gauge to 13 meters, 2 meters, we'll see a rise to 6 meters to 7 meters, and continue to get higher. And as that water level rises, we're seeing that inundation impact and the different roadways that are being impacted by that flood. And are these roadways key roadways or smaller residential streets? So that real-time info has been really useful for state government departments we work with, like departments of transport, to understand the impact on the transit network as an event unfolds and be used to facilitate coordinated, smooth, efficient evacuations, which is really exciting. I want to share an example here of this impact analytics and postcast in action in the state of Texas. So this is FloodMap's Impact Analytics dashboard, where it has powerful applications in the disaster recovery space with preliminary damage assessment. So this is showing that flood inundation layer, the postcast in the red, overlaid against property structure data from the National Structures Inventory to show the occupancy type, how many commercial structures are impacted versus manufactured, what's the damage severity, and what's the overall damages of this event. I'll keep going because I have another dynamic view of this that I will show you. So FEMA has been using this technology across a number of states as part of our work with the Department of Homeland Security Silicon Valley Innovation Program Flood Data and Analytics Project, where this data is helping them understand major events as they unfold to support the understanding of impacts to structures for insurance purposes, as well as search and rescue and grant eligibility assessment. So as part of this project, we deployed the technology across the entire state of Texas for all gauged waterways. So this is showing the postcast in the pink and nowcast in the purple, just to indicate the level of coverage across the state. And they've implemented the technology as part of an impact dashboard where, furthering from that picture we saw earlier, it's able to give them a view across multiple states of where those damages are, and are we talking a $10 million, $100 million, or a $10 billion loss event. So if we drill down here, we can click on the state of Texas and say, okay, well, what do the structure impacts and the damage look like across the state? It's showing here that Jefferson, in this example, has experienced the most impacts by county, followed by Kaufman and Tarrant and some of the other counties. We can also view then the damage estimates by county. So Tarrant showing the most in terms of estimated damages to that county, with dynamic updates there on the left to those damage estimates in dollar value. then we're able to break that down in terms of the occupancy type. So is this a residential structure, public structure, industrial, commercial, and how many structures are destroyed versus suffering some other minor, major impact level. So that can be really helpful for rapid preliminary damage assessment to undertake targeted resource deployment and prioritize valuable resources to expedite a disaster response and faster distribution of resources to communities to recover. We've deployed the technology to Williamson County. So this went live in 2023, and we've been following the performance of the technology in the county. So there was a quote there from Judge Gravel, who said, "This will help emergency responders and the public take appropriate action ahead of a flood event, support flood response activities, and enable post-flood analysis to streamline community recovery." So as we rolled out this technology, we undertook detailed validation for the floods October 2018. So this is showing on the left some drone footage of that flood in Memorial Park compared with the flood map nowcast simulation on the right at the time that image was taken. We also validated it in the August 2022 floods. So this is showing flood inundation at Brushy Creek Sports Park, photo on the left compared with the inundation on the right, where we were seeing, some really good alignment there. They then integrated this technology API into their map viewer. So they are able to see and visualize this data in the systems that they're using every day to help understand how it overlays with other data sets they may have on properties and critical infrastructure. So the power of that interoperability allows a better understanding of the impact at a local level. So forecast was used in the 2024 flooding that we saw May 16. This is a image showing flood map nowcast in the blue and forecast in the yellow for Brushy Creek at dams 7 and 8. So this was able to help understand the forecast levels as well as the inundation that would be expected and any impacts to critical facilities to help maintain public safety, be used for any targeted alerting, road closures that may be necessary, as well as protecting sites and inserts. So this forecast is just, this one is at San Gabriel River. Again, we're seeing nowcast in the blue, forecast in the yellow, and where we didn't have a river forecast center peak available, but the forecast peak that FloodMap forecast was 5.24 feet, 1.6 meters, and the actual being 6.1 feet or 1.86 meters. So within 10 inches, and we're continually working to improve that forecast with the additional data that we're getting to continually calibrate and validate those models. These are some pictures showing the performance of nowcast, also at the San Gabriel River low water crossing. So we've got the comparisons there of the postcast in the red, nowcast in the blue, compared with those photos, which were showing some good alignment there at that low water crossing. I also wanted to share some examples of how the City of Norfolk has implemented this technology. So they've said the technology provides affordable citywide situational awareness that current solutions such as sensor networks alone don't offer. And so again, I think this speaks to the collaboration and interoperability that by leveraging and intersecting with the existing investments in sensors that the city had made, we were able to enhance their situational awareness with the live intelligence services to understand the impacts to roadways in real time and provide traffic routing for residents, as well as inform the emergency services of the impact as the flood unfolded. So the live operational flood inundation modeling service and including extent and depth, was overlaid with their road network to identify both expected road hazards and road closures based on the depth of water over the roads. Was this, 1 inch depth water over the roads, 6 inches or more than a foot of water over each road, for example. And this is updated at 15-minute increments to give live updates on impacts as the flood unfolded. So we provided APIs of Nowcast as that flood extent and depth, so web feature service, web map service, to an Esri environment to support the emergency responders. And we also exposed an API of the impacted road networks as the flood unfolded and integrated that into the Waze app for residents. So this is an example. We worked with teams there from RISE Resilience Innovations, the City of Norfolk, and FloodMap teams to validate the technology and compare it to what was happening on the ground. So you can see a driver driving through and the FloodMap Nowcast in the middle here, as well as the traffic routing in the Waze app on the right. And so this is showing the view of the experience, the user experience, I guess, from the Waze app, where these little flood icons with the cars and water are coming up each time there's a predicted intersected flooded roadway, and provides alternative driving instructions to avoid that. So we've continued to have really good feedback. This has been operational now for about 3 years. And I heard a wonderful story the other day that a mum in Norfolk, Virginia told me that this technology helped her navigate around flooded roads and get her daughter safely to school when there were other cars trapped in the floodwaters that morning. So I love hearing stories like this, that seeing technology in action and the power of GIS to help with public safety and keep people out of flooded roads. We've worked collaboratively with FDEM they've used the data during Hurricane Helene, Nowcast and Postcast live data services, helped the department to provide situational intelligence on impact to critical facilities to improve public safety, mitigate damage, and fast-track recovery. So I wanted to share a demonstration of this technology in action. I think what they really appreciated about the technology was that using it alongside other sources such as satellite imagery and synthetic aperture radar, FloodMap provided a view of the flooding that was actually unfolding on the ground as a source of truth based on calibrated to real-time gauges as the flood was unfolding. So it gave them that granular data, which supplemented their understanding of where floodwaters were on the ground each hour as the situation unfolded. So this is showing when Helene made landfall and the storm surge flooding that was experienced around Tampa Bay. And so you can see there the live service is updating as the floodwaters rose, the storm surge rose, and floodwaters fell. And then the next slide here will show also how they were able to use the data to help visualize the impact at the structure level and the accuracy at structure level. So this is a popular bar and grill at Pinellas County that was impacted by flooding. So we're able to see the structure impact and the depth. Like, are we talking 0.1 feet or, up to more than 3 feet inundation due to that storm surge flooding? This is at the Gulfport waterfront. And this demonstration shows the application of that postcast feed integrated into ArcGIS Online in an impact analytics dashboard to again be able to understand really rapidly, and this is immediately as the flood is peaking and updating every hour. So Postcast provides a 30-day look back of where was the maximum extent of the flooding over the last 30 days. And how many structures were impacted, what are the estimated damages. So this is helping them get a front foot on recovery. Okay, so to finish up, I wanted to share just some more examples of the performance of our technology across Texas and validation in a few regions. particularly during the 2024 floods in May. This one's at Travis County, Shoal Creek at House Park Stadium. You can see the flooded stadium on the left in an image compared to flood map nowcast capturing that flooding as the flood event unfolded in the red circle here. This is Harris County, so May 4th, 2024, Clear Lake Road. We can see here the red and blue arrow pointing out the impacted structures in the photo from aerial photography, and then the aligning red and blue arrow in the right with flood map nowcast. And this is compared to the high graph there showing San Jacinto River near Sheldon. This one is another example in Harris County at Royal Shores in Kingswood. This is May 5th, the next day. So the impacted structures in the image compared to the impacted structures that were captured by the postcast. Harris County, May 4. So this is the San Jacinto River. Some images showing with the flood map nowcast on the left, the red arrow depicting impacts to structures compared with where those structures were impacted on the aerial imagery. And again, Harris County, May 4th, Riverside Seafood and Grill in Channelview, Texas. That's another example here of the impact analytics. So postcast operationalized as part of a dashboard, May 20th, Harris County. This one's Trinity County, May 6th. Showing the impacted structures on the imagery on the left. Then we have on the right showing the postcast there compared to the river peak. So again, this is demonstrating the power of collaboration in data sets and how we can use existing investments in flood gauges by the USGS, work with agencies such as TxDOT to bring in additional gauges and provide localized intelligence. So I think there's lots of opportunity here for flood inundation modeling technology to be applied and used in an operational sense in Texas to deliver that property street level situational awareness on impact. So a couple more here for Basque and Brazos County. This is May 7th. One last thing I wanted to touch on was to just bring awareness to procurement options for FloodMap. We're always open to working with partners through direct procurement. We're actively registered with the Texas Secretary of State's office as business licensed in Texas. We also have cooperative purchasing agreement in place with Williamson County, interlocal agreements or ILA. And yeah, we're hoping to submit a submission for the Texas DIR contract to become a vendor on that purchasing panel. So we will keep you all updated there. And summary and recap before we finish up. Just to reiterate here, I think collaboration is key for effective disaster response. And we touched earlier on the really impressive initiatives that are already underway in Texas, including the National Weather Service flood inundation mapping services in partnership with the National Water Center, the Texas Water Development Board, Texas State Flood Plan. This is really exciting development. PIN to Flood, the TxDOT Streamflow Project. And so Dash is a really interoperable technology that can integrate and leverage existing investments that have been made and build on projects like these to take in those flood studies, gauges, data, and integrate that into our operational flood modeling service to provide forecast, nowcast, and postcast as an ingestible API into other GIS systems to enhance accuracy at the local scale, deliver intelligence in an operational format, and help achieve the goals of the Texas State Flood Plan. So the technology is live, it's operational, it's designed for support before, during, and after preparedness, response, and recovery. And the products all have attached flood extent, flood depth and flood impact options. So this is data that is really able to help inform decision making by providing that property specific, roadway specific impact information to enhance preparedness, response and recovery. And lastly, interoperability. So a single platform or a piece of data isn't useful unless it's organized and it's contextualized. So the real power in effective operational flood risk response comes when we're able to take a live hazard feed, flood data, and we can overlay that on exposure data, people, property, substations, roadways, telecommunications assets to understand the impact that flood is going to have. And with that, we're able to make more informed decisions, targeted evacuations, alerting, road closures, rerouting traffic to enhance public safety, save lives, keep people off flooded roads, and support that common operating picture and platform for shared situational awareness across state agencies. For example, TxDOT, TDAM, Texas Water Development Board, General Land Office, and a whole range of stakeholders that may be working collaboratively for an effective disaster response. All right, well, thank you so much. I wanted to open it up if anyone has any questions.
Yeah, if anybody has questions online, just raise your hand. And we'll take questions in the room first. But first, thank you, Juliet. That was a great presentation.
Yeah, the great presentation. So, yeah, I'll open it up to the room if anybody has any questions. I got 10 in my head, but I'm going to hog the mic. So, Sam.
Yeah, Juliet, great presentation. Looking at your inundation map of the structures and damage assessment and all that, I was thinking about, first flood elevation or first floor elevation data. Have you been able to integrate any of that data or even collect it to improve your modeling?
This not yet, and it's something that I'm really excited to do. The examples I shared were using the National Structures Inventory, and one of the key deficiencies in that data set is that it doesn't capture first floor elevation. There's some other funny data artifacts too, where it might show boat structure as being a single family home. So if there is any data at this either state level or local level that agencies in Texas are collecting on first floor elevation, our databases are set up in a way for the impact analytics to ingest that data, but it's a matter of gaining access to high quality data. So we've simulated this at a local scale, but it's certainly not something that we've done at a state scale yet, but would be really excited to explore that.
Something related to that is you had a damage on commercial versus residential on your dashboard. Is that commercial versus residential data coming from the same data set, the national data set?
Yeah, absolutely. So that's coming from the National Structures Inventory. They provide a field breakdown of the structure type. I believe we had a couple of different categories. So there was commercial, residential, manufactured, so mobile homes, and industrial, maybe four or so categories. Again, that data set is not perfect, so it's a federal data set. So there is opportunities to change that. I guess one of the key things I want to highlight here is all these dashboards that I've shared today are just examples of how other agencies have chosen to do their impact analytics, but every single agency and every single emergency manager is going to be asking different questions and wanting to break down data and impact analytics in different ways. So there's certainly flexibility to break that down however you want if you have the data sets available on different structure types.
Yeah, and as a reference to the first floor building heights, so the Water Development Board is currently working on a kind of a research project to identify being able to find and collect first floor elevations in the hopes that we can establish kind of a statewide structure data set. We're still kind of in the early phases of doing that at the moment, but hopefully in the near future, we'll have some more information on that.
Using like street view imagery or?
It's a bunch of different stuff. We're kind of, it's kind of in a gap analysis type situation where we're trying to identify all the different types and sources from which we could go out and collect those information.
To follow that project as you publish any information on it, and if there's access to any database that comes out of it, we'd certainly be very fascinated to follow that.
Time for any more questions? Any questions online?
No, it's not for Judith.
Okay, Juliet, one quick question is I saw you were doing some damage assessments, so you had some damage curves. Can you talk a little bit about where you got that information? Is that something that was developed in-house, or is that a published set of standards for damage curves?
Sure, yeah, these particular damage curves we used were based on the FEMA HAZUS damage assessment methodology. So we applied some rules-based logic for the depth at a structure. You know, if it's 1 foot of damage, that will equate to X dollars. If it's 2 feet, 3 feet, 12 feet, and the structure is completely destroyed. So there were a series of calculations and logic that were applied that came from FEMA HAZUS. So again, that's one methodology. Doesn't necessarily govern how this could be done within agencies within Texas. If you have damage curves that you all are using, there's definitely an opportunity to ingest that data and intersect it.
Excellent. And then one other question too is I know bridges have been kind of a big thing as it relates to flood, and I noticed on some of your flood models you would show water over the bridge or over the deck. Is the bridge data actually there and the water is over the bridge, or are we missing bridges in some of the models?
So at a state level, we haven't done the work to the level that is being done currently by TxDOT and the Streamflow project. We have done that at a local level, and certainly we've done that work in Norfolk to put back in the bridge decks and show flood at the roadway bridge deck level. So we have tooling for that, but that's not something that we have across the state of Texas today. So that would be a project to explore, I think, at the state level, if that's of interest.
Absolutely. I know David Maidment's on, so I was asking that question on his behalf, probably. So
Amazing.
any other questions? Otherwise, we can move on. Anybody internal in the room? Anybody online? All right. Juliet, thank you again for being here and doing this presentation. It was extremely valuable for us, specifically for those of us in the water world. So thank you so much. We do appreciate it. I'm sure you'll be hearing back from us with other questions.
Thank you so much. It was my absolute pleasure.
Take care. All right, one more big hand for Juliet. So Joe, I'm assuming you're going to just go back to my presentation. Okay, so now we come to the open discussion part, and I did receive about 6 of y'all who submitted for open discussion. So with that, what I'll do is I'm just going to go down the list for those who have submitted, and then if there's time, we will get others who want to talk about what they're doing can jump in. And Courtney, I'm going to save you for last, if that's okay. So Sean Moran, are you on?
Sean, go ahead and raise your hand so I can find you and unmute you. Okay, your camera and mic are able. You can unlock them if you'd like.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
And then I'd like to turn on my video just to say hey to folks. There we go. It's been a while. And can I share my screen too? Can I get the option to share my screen?
I'm
I
not.
don't know if we can do that. We would have had to have made you presenter in advance.
I can make them a
Can
presenter.
you? Okay, never mind.
Great.
You should be able to share your screen now.
Yeah, we can just.
All right. Well, my name is Sean Moran. I've looked at the participants on the call, and I know a lot of the folks here. So it's nice to see everybody, if not in person, at least virtually. I wanted to speak with y'all today because I'm a former Texas GIO employee, but I'm a current ACC GIS professor at Austin Community College here in Austin, Texas. And although there are a lot of our former graduates on the call, and of course we have our incoming current students for the spring semester, most folks just know about our program from the outside and they don't get to actually see the curriculum on the inside. So over Christmas, I published our intermediate GIS course as a self-learning online course that's available to anyone with a computer, internet, and ArcGIS Pro. And so anybody can access this course. It doesn't cost any money, but it is a lot of curriculum. It's a full 16-week course, so you can expect to spend 60 to 72 hours to complete all 4 competencies, or what we call modules. And each competency includes 3 topics. So there's 12 total topics in our intermediate GIS course. And it does require, if you want to complete the curriculum, a subscription to ArcGIS Pro Desktop GIS software, which if you don't have a subscription, you can get a personal license for $100. And so how is our college credit courses different than our self-learning courses? Well, while this course is free, there's no instructor staff or tutor support, no feedback, no test, project, or course grades, and of course, no course credit. But there is some very limited support. I created a Reddit page you can see over there on the right side of your screen. And that Reddit page will allow folks who are completing the curriculum to support each other. And I'll monitor it, but I don't know how much I'm going to be interacting with that Reddit page. So if you complete the course, you can't apply the credit towards an award unless you enroll at Austin Community College. And the only other little caveat is that the lecture and demonstration slides aren't available online. They're only visible in the lecture and demonstration videos. And so this is the URL or the web address for the self-learning course. I'll put it in the questions and answers. Let's see if I can get there. Ask a question. And I'm going to ask a question of myself so you can click on it yourself.
Sean, are you sharing your screen? We're not able to see anything.
I was sharing it. I'll try again. It says stop sharing. I'll stop sharing. But I don't need to be sharing it. You can look at the questions, and I posted a link to the course website there, and you can click on it yourself and see that. And if you go into the course website, you can see the course outline that includes the course level learning outcomes all the way down to the outcomes for the individual topics. And then over on the far right, you can access on the menu under materials, the materials or curriculum for the intermediate GIS course. And so it includes 4 topics: analyzing information, vector analysis, raster analysis, and 3D analysis. And so, for example, the vector analysis includes a summary of what you're learning for a particular topic, the performance criteria, the things that you'll learn for that topic, and then the actual curriculum, which includes the lecture videos, demonstration videos, a interactive quiz, and a multi-topic real-world project that students complete and can add to their demonstrated professional experience portfolio. And so
Sean,
we launched this course over Christmas, and Dr. Joseph Kursky was generous enough, as well as Stephanie Long, to repost a LinkedIn post. And so we got, over 20,000 impressions, and over 95 different countries, people visited the website. But that's not really the goal. The goal is to get people to actually utilize the curriculum. And so I'll be monitoring the analytics for the website through the end of the spring, and of course next fall, and hopefully we'll see folks really getting in there and completing the intermediate GIS curriculum. And so last, the benefits for publishing our self-learning course are, one, that we promote the ACC GIS program. Also, we're trying to increase student enrollment. We've already had folks contact our GIS program administrator, Jennifer Black, to ask about the program once they've seen it on LinkedIn. We want to highlight our great GIS curriculum that we have at Austin Community College that utilizes open educational resource materials that are free to use and share as long as you credit Austin Community College and myself. And last, we want to increase worldwide access to GIS. So hopefully you'll check out the intermediate GIS course, and if you have any thoughts on it, I'd love to hear them. You can email me if you find me on the internet. So that's the update on our intermediate GIS course, Richard. Thanks.
Sean, thank you so much. Any questions for Sean? Questions internally? John, thank you very, very much. I wish you success, and I really do hope to learn more about how the turnout was, and maybe y'all will do more of those. Very good stuff. So Stephanie Long, you are in queue. Are you available? Stephanie?
All right, Stephanie, you can
Howdy.
unmute.
How's
There
it
you
going? Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Wonderful. Hey, everybody. So I wanted to share that the GIS department here at Austin Community College is hosting a capstone celebration and showcase this spring, and we'd like you to save the date. Attendance can be done in person on our ACC Highland campus, or you can attend online. We'll provide you with a Zoom link. I'm going to put some information in the Q&A, and that's going to have a link to the event that you can save to your own calendar. This is really an amazing meeting where students who are graduating from our program attend and present on the work that they've been doing all semester. So this semester they're working on their own projects and really serving as their own project managers. And they showcase that great work to the audience at this event, but it's also a celebration for those graduating students. So I'll put that in the Q&A, and then if you have any questions or concerns, please feel free to reach out to me. Thank you for letting me share.
Thank you, Stephanie. Appreciate that. Any questions for Stephanie? Okay, we're going to move along. And Austin Nealon, you're next. And I would read this for you, but I'd like you to read this statement. So if you are on, please raise your hand. Austin, are you on? Going once, going twice. If not, I will read it.
You said their name is Austin?
Austin, N-E-L-A-N, Nealon. No.
Didn't even register.
So Austin Nealon just passed his GISCI, GISP exam in December 2024. So that's worthy of an applause, right? Right. Chris Bardash, are you available? There he is. Get you unmuted here just a sec.
Chris, you can unmute.
Hey there, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hey, good to see and hear from you all. the major thing I wanted to share with you, and I don't remember what I wrote, if I submitted something, I felt like I did. But
I can read it to you.
Yeah, go for it.
Says you'll be publishing a preliminary draft of your federally required intersection inventory.
Good, very good, thank you. The thing I was going to bring up was that rival project that we've talked about in the past. So that's the roadway imagery, and we selected Cyclomedia for that contract, and they are already out there collecting that data. Now, that's just data that TxDOT is going to utilize within our agency for a variety of purposes, but you can think of things like we can extract data like number of lanes and roadway width and tons of things. Actually, sign inventory. TxDOT doesn't have a statewide sign inventory, so it's really exciting. The technology for one, but also the possibilities of what we do with all of that data, both within our section, Jeremy and myself dealing with the roadway inventory, but also just across the whole agency. Some point, and I've alluded to this in the past, I think it would be nice if we could figure out some kind of sharing, agreement that other folks can get their hands on this. Right now, like I said, it will be available both as data extracts, but also in a viewer for all TxDOT employees, through a single sign-on login. But, as the project matures and we start to get a better understanding of the ins and outs of all of it, I'll keep you up to date. But, broader sharing is something I really hope that we could do at some point. I think it's going to be a pretty rich and cool data set. And then the other item was, the intersection inventory. So that's a federally mandated addition to our roadway inventory that we need to have done by 2026. We've got a preliminary draft that we're hoping to publish before the end of this month, or if not, very soon. And so, that's just a point layer of every intersection across the state, but also some data about the intersecting roadways. Federal Highways Administration wants that done for safety analysis purposes and, both for them, but also for the DOTs to use themselves. So that's about to be published, or a draft version, and we're working on a slick little web map viewer to look at that with. So, I'll report out more, and I don't know, maybe we'll present on it at the forum, but those kind of couple big things that we've been working on lately.
That's good stuff, Chris. We're interested in that data, right?
Oh, of course, yeah.
For the public domain.
Yeah, I'm really hoping we can make that happen. Yeah.
Okay. All right. We'll bring the big guns over to talk to your people. I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. Good stuff. Any questions for Chris? One?
That was for Sean.
Okay. So Walter West, you actually submitted something that I think is pretty intriguing. I'm just going to read the question, and if Walter can jump on and maybe talk about it a little bit, that'd be great. He said, only if asked. We've installed hundreds of miles of large diameter water pipe in New Mexico and West Texas. So my question, Walter, are you here? Raise your hand if you are. You see Walter? Okay. I was going to ask him if it's for drainage or for moving water from one location to another.
What's his last name?
Walter West. Okay, I'll catch up with him. And then the second to the last question, I'm probably going to get this name wrong. Is it Phelan Lay? Phelan, are you on? There you go. So Phelan, you are wanting to know, and I'm going to read this, but if you could maybe elaborate a little bit. You said, what types of data are shared among Texas departments and universities? And is there a platform that university researchers can easily access? I think we have an answer to that one.
Hi, yes, this has been a very informative session, and thank you everyone for sharing all the resources. I think my question has been well addressed. Thank you.
We thought so. But if you had anything to follow up on, let us know. We're obviously here at TextGeo, we can help you any way you need for finding whatever information you're looking for. We can probably point you to the right place. And with that being said, Courtney, I'm going to hang on to you, but anybody else have anything they want to bring up? Tell us about what's going on in your area. Jared, anything? It's over here.
Hi, sorry, I should have probably thought about where I was going to sit before I broke it. I just want to introduce myself, Lizette de la Boca Negra. This is my first one, so it's been very insightful. Thank you for, facilitating and with the weather still having it. So I am the GIS manager for CPS Energy in San Antonio, Texas. So I was looking forward to the opportunity to connect not only with electric utilities, but I do have 3 customers, which is gas, electric, and fiber, about 1 million customer size. So undertaking the utility network roadmap is going to be a fun and exciting next 2 years. So we definitely are open to anything that anyone's already doing, anything that anyone has already planned as we go through that research these next couple of months. So if anybody wants to chat afterwards, I am here with my team. So please let us know and I'll get you all my contact.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you for being here. Anybody else? Yes, Jackie.
There's some job openings.
Cool.
I know. Hi, Jackie, the manager at the city of Austin, Texas, and I was doing some scrolling yesterday, and there's an IT data analyst position open with Austin Water Utility. It closes January 30th, and also an IT supervisor position for geospatial analysis with the Watershed Protection Department, and that closes February 11th. You can find these and any other city jobs at austincityjobs.org.
Excellent.
It's a great place to work. Good people.
Yes, yes. Extremely good people.
Intriguing problems.
But some of our folks are heading your way, and it's very upsetting. Not our folks at TextGeo, don't.
Oh, okay. I was like, I've used a poaching before.
But others. Yes, anybody else over City of Austin?
We did bring some guests today. We had a GIS kind of technical assessment done in August. And so Esri is here to,
all right.
And they presented the findings this morning. So we have Pete Fitz as our technical advisor with Esri, and then Keith Neitlinger is one of the senior consultants on the projects.
Excellent. Thank you guys for being here. Appreciate it. All right. Anybody else? Jared, anything from Railroad?
Just a couple of updates. We actually integrated our surface casing application. So we've been partnering with Bureau of Economic Geology as a state geodetic lead. And so it's kind of congressionally mandated, legislatively mandated for seismic and also for groundwater. So that application's up and running. We got some really good feedback. So thanks to Aaron Averitt over at BEG and Royce Massey, who's one of our geologists, GIS folks, for putting that together. We're working on a new application that is for our electricity supply chain map. We're calling it RRC map. It's kind of the interim, but it basically gives visualization, because one of the things we found was if there's any new infrastructure added, let's say a new natural gas plant. So you may know where your molecules are going through that pipeline if you're a pipeline operator, but you don't know that that is the plant that you're going to. You're just selling the molecules. So we started looking at it and saying, we got to really get a good understanding of where everyone is on that map and their situational awareness, particularly for emergencies. And so that's a new application that's coming out. And then a couple of other things, jobs. So I'll take it. So we have our underground injection control manager position, which is a big deal at the agency. So unfortunately, Ivan Salas left us for a different job, which is great for him. But that position's open now. We also have a new team leader position under our environmental permitting section. So that's a new position that we got authorization for, which is a big GIS position because you can just think from the layers of information that are required for that permitting. And we also have a new program that we got federal funding for the federal well plugging. So it's a biologist position if you look at it online in CAPS, but it's actually a GIS position. So the first person, Hannah Hawthorne, I've been working with her and training her on GIS and Power BI, but she's going to train the next group of people that we're hiring. So that's a straight up GIS position. So if you have a biology background in GIS, that's a wonderful position because that's a federal program that we see enduring for a long time, and it's got a phenomenal environmental impact. So those are some things that we're working on with our new regulations. So a couple of highlights.
Thanks, Jared. Appreciate that. Any questions for Jared, or is anybody online wanting to give us updates?
Yeah, anyone online wants to give an update, just raise your hand.
Going once, going twice. Anybody in the room? Chance, so we'll move forward. It's a threat. I'm threatened. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. We appreciate the insight and the information. And if there's any way TextGeo can help you with some of your information, let us know. We've got some contacts. We might be able to help you out there. So with that, Joey, I'm going to try to mess with this thing and get us back on our.
Oh, what about? Oh, Courtney.
Courtney, are you still there?
You should be able to unmute, Courtney.
My apologies. I told you to wait and then I totally skipped over you.
That's fine. Can y'all hear me now?
Yep, we can hear you. Yeah. This is important because I would have come up onto this and then forgot I had asked you. So go ahead.
No, that's great. Hey, my name is Courtney Rowe, and I am really involved in the GIS and CAD community in Austin, Texas, and beyond. And our group, our professional organization supporting women in geography and GIS, would love to invite everybody at the meeting. And if you're joining online, come in after work over to the Texas Chili Parlor today. So there's great food and drinks to be had and excellent networking. We can't wait to see everyone, and I will meet y'all there.
All right, Courtney, thank you.
Thank you. Oh, just to let you know, there are leadership opportunities in organizations like Supporting Women in Geography and GIS, as well as Syntax GIS. So if anybody's looking to become a member or looking for some leadership role opportunities, maybe GISP points, maybe they want to get some more managerial type experience, we have great supportive veterans in these organizations to help guide you in your leadership experience. So please let us know at the map yet or reach out via email.
Excellent, Courtney. Thanks again. We appreciate it very much. And we'll see you here in a few minutes.
Sounds great. Thank you.
All right. Okay, with that, we're going to close out. Oh.
Online, Joey?
Yeah, you just need to maximize it.
Good, good. Okay, let's see. So we're going to talk a little bit about the upcoming community meetings. Obviously, y'all are here today, so don't worry about that one. 4/16/25, April 16th, again in this room, same time. 7/23 of 25. in this, yeah, we don't have to do that anymore. I guess we're pretty much. And then, of course, at the forum on 11/7/25 at our conference facilities at the Pickle Center. So put these on your calendar and information will be following. Let's see here. Also, to stay connected with us, there's our X account. Also, you can email us at gio@twdb.texas.gov. And of course, join our mailing list by using the QR code so we can send you updates as well. And with that, are there any last questions before we adjourn? Comments, thoughts? If there aren't, thank you guys, first of all, for being here. We did not expect, we actually thought we were just going to be talking to ourselves and that everybody would be online. So we do appreciate everybody showing up here. I think this is a great facility and
Can we go back one?
can we go back one? Oh, yes. There you go. But thank you again. If you can join us, we're just going to walk over to the chili parlor and hopefully we can grab a little space back there and make it our own, and love to see everybody if you can be there. Take care, you guys. Thank you so much.
If y'all did not sign in at the front, come find me.
Well,
She wouldn't let me stay on.
You don't? Okay.
Sorry, I'm Richard.
And I was like, no, it's, and then I see it later.
Hey, Lauren.
Okay.
Your shirt is amazing.
She didn't go to the.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Communication.
I got to the point where I saw how it felt, and then I passed out. Like now it's.
Following you.
Well, yeah, and I was just like, oh, the next entrance. So
I navigated and I was like, well, that's so I started, then I saw the end. They talked about in on the other entrance. But I couldn't get. So then I saw Lana on the bottom, and she's like, you know, what are you doing?
I was just I was looking, I was like, I was outside, there's some outside. I parked at a spot. This is clean up more.
The day I choose.
Then I was like, you heard what's like, so I watched that road and I was like, and then I was like, okay, no, I need to go back to this way. Yeah.
I want that.
He's like, I know him. I'm actually going to that day. My coworkers just pretty much. I'm pretty sure they're both there. It's also second floor. Like this one. It's like, yeah, that one. Walked up here. And I was like, I didn't think you said like Texas water down. I was like,
I'm not even.
It's coming on the video. I know I can just get on. I know I should get on somebody to get
Yeah, he's just, it's like, well, I marked it at the top of GIS. They connect. You're trying to extricate very quick, but you can't get back over the data.
Yeah, I would like,
Right there.
I would take it like information.
I must have given around. Well, the first time I had these, like, I ran around, now, you work over there like the zone. Yeah.
The signage always clear.
Yeah, you can just know where.
I know, some good. Yeah, it's last year. Yeah, it's like, oh my God.
And it was like, you know, always share.
You work in the, what's the name? Aerial. I might stop by.
There's nobody there. They won't.
Yeah, it is. This is.
It wasn't like a.
Is it just? You'll see them.
Process, kind of understand.
Yeah, they're right around.
Too late.
But at the same time. Our CCA, we did 2 years ago for these.
We'd love to be involved. Trying to figure out how we can help and what their timing is, what they're doing.
But.
And we all have our party too.
Okay. So we get there, you could like showcase like Celia, put that out there. Everything there. We send them all.
That's the things he's all about.
That's
Building a collaboration.
So I think that once
Clean address, clean roads, so you can fill in the thing where.
Someone had already sort
You
of.
know, that's the support to take technology to allow.
Otherwise,
rigorous concerns. So, each cat has an address.
I think it's more about.
Somebody has an address, understand somebody fire protection has a different address. And he's building a system right now. Each, it pulls in all these data sets. And does an assessment automatically, and it flags any discrepancies. And then we can probably send it to the agency or to update it. And then so you can workflow manager, all the rest of that kind of stuff. Then they're supposed to update it, and it'll send a notification back, this is like correct address, and then that sends a broadcast out to all the other agencies saying this is now the official address for this.
That's, I see, that's really great. That's exactly what we're looking at doing, and I really want to kind of push it to the 911 folks.
Hey, Richard, will you end the meeting?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
I think it's just running.
Well, I don't know.
We're gonna administration. Whatever.
Real quick.
Take some breaks, you know, like.
Yeah.
Professional.
It's like
How,
To empower.
4,000 square miles, something like that. It was a relatively.
I know you guys had a slide.
And then maybe I can end it. End meeting, there we go.